Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Shang-Chi Bricks. I'm Alex, and the DCU is just trying to start becoming its own big thing. Now, it seems like it's been having some trouble with Supergirl at the box office, and then literally a couple minutes ago, I just found out that the Batman Part 2 is going to be delayed, even though that may not be part of the DCU. Anyway, so it seems like the DCU, especially with the Warner Bros. And Paramount Plus merger, is maybe in a rough spot. But they've revealed that there's going to be a lot of new DCU TV shows coming out. So I thought it would be fun to rank them all based off how excited I am for them. Now, quick disclaimer, every DC TV show on this list, I assume, will be uploaded to HBO Max, which is a streaming service I don't have. I have a lot of family members who have the streaming service, so when I visit them, I usually try to watch DC stuff. That's also part of the reason why there isn't as much DC content on this channel, partially because I just don't have access to watching a lot of different DC things unless they're on live TV. So, obviously, whenever I get the opportunity to watch HBO Max, I do try to, as much as I can. So, for most of these shows, obviously, when I am in possession of HBO Max, I will definitely try to watch them. But some of these things, as you'll see, my access to HBO Max may or may not affect my opinions on how excited I am for these shows. I think kind of similar to how I felt about Clayface, which if you saw my most anticipated movies of 2026, Clayface was at 10th, and I'm never gonna watch Clayface, partially because it seems very it seems like there's gonna be a lot of body horror, but I think part of the reason why I'm I still was excited for it is because I am very excited to see all this DC lore build out. So some of these I'm kind of just excited for the lore, and I'm probably not gonna watch them. But most of these, to some extent, I am quite excited for. So let's jump into the rankings. Quick reminder before we start: this is only the DCU TV shows. So there isn't going to be anything like Teen Titans Go on here because Teen Titans Go isn't part of the actual DC universe that James Gunn is working on. So all of these TV shows will be like in the same universe as like the Superman movie or the Supergirl movie that came out. So if you didn't know that, now you know. So now let's jump into last place, number 7th on the list, which is Creature Commando Season 2. This is the main pick I have that my access to HBO Max affects this placement the most. Mostly because I just simply haven't watched the first season and I've heard mixed things. So when I do come in, when I do have access to HBO Max, this likely isn't the thing I'm gonna choose to watch. It just doesn't interest me a lot. In some ways, I feel like I just want to watch Suicide Squad instead of watching Creature Commandos. So basically just doesn't interest me that much. I bet there's gonna be some cool lore stuff here and there, but in the end, I just don't care that much. So that's why Creature Commandos is last. Now in 6th place is Paradise Lost, which it seems like it's had a bit of struggle and development, but I still think this could be really, really interesting. It's gonna be about the like islands of Themyscira, where Wonder Woman's from, and it's going to be kind of like a Wonder Woman origin TV show. I think I like how unique this sounds. Like, I think this will be very, very interesting to come into the DCU, and especially like distincting it from Marvel. It sounds like something that like Marvel obviously hasn't really done before, and I definitely like the idea of getting Wonder Woman in getting some Wonder Woman origins in the DCU. I think the thing that just kind of annoys me is like I'd rather just get Wonder Woman first and then learn stuff about Themyscira. It's kind of like how I want Batman before Clayface, because we're getting a Clayface movie before we even know who our Batman is. So I think that is a bit disappointing in some ways. And also, who knows if the show is still happening? It seems to not be in the best development, but I still hope it happens. I think it would be really cool. I think it would also mean Wonder Woman's coming sooner in the DCU. So for those reasons, that's kind of why it's at the bottom, but I still am quite excited for it. The next 5 TV shows on this list, I actually am very, very excited for. There's a huge gap between Creature Commandos and Paradise Lost, and now there's a huge gap between Paradise Lost and what's in 5th place, which is Mr. Miracle. This is the only animated show on the list, and I'm very excited for this one. I think Mr. Miracle is a really cool character to get his own TV show. Obviously, I mean, I haven't read any of his comics, but obviously the Lego figure is a very nice Lego figure. But I do know a lot of his origins, and I think it would be really cool to get a lot of these, I think it'd be really cool to get a lot of the New Gods characters, like Big Barda and Orion, and then possibly like Granny Goodness and Darkseid eventually. I think that would be really cool to like have actually introduced into the DCU. Now, James Gunn has said that he doesn't want this first portion of the DCU to be Darkseid focused, but with all these changes with the Warner Bros. And Paramount merger, I'm not sure if maybe he just has to go quickly into the new big bad of the DC universe, which is being possibly Darkseid. I don't really know. I think it would be cool if it was. Um, James Gunn's reasoning on why it isn't Darkseid, according to him, is the fact that he thinks that Zack Snyder did a great job with Darkseid already. Now, I am very excited for this show in general. James Gunn also said, similar to Creature Commandos, this will be one of those shows where the voice cast for animation will be the same live action cast in live action as well, which I think is really awesome. I like it when they do that and there's a little bit of continuity there. I think the reason why I have all of like the most excited shows for me on this list is in last place is partially because I don't exactly know what I'm getting here. I don't really remember who's directing this. So I feel like it could maybe get similar reviews and people would have similar thoughts to this as Creature Commandos. I like the idea, other than Creature Commandos, of this being entirely new characters and a whole new section of the DCU we haven't seen yet. But I am very excited for this show. I think there's a lot of really cool places they could take it. So yeah, that's I think why this is last in the more exciting shows for me. Now in fourth place is Booster Gold. Now, there was an announcement yesterday that I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm very sorry. But the actor who played Blue Beetle in the DCU in 2023, I think he's awesome. He's also in Cobra Kai, which is really, really cool. It's said that he's going to return in May of Tomorrow, which is pretty awesome. Now, if you don't know, in the comics, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold work with each other a lot. I think those are two very cool characters that the DCEU never really got to touch on that much. So I think if they get a really good casting for Booster Gold, like maybe someone like Joe Keery from Stranger Things, I think that this could be a really, really interesting dynamic with him and Blue Beetle from the DCEU. Once again, I'm very sorry I cannot pronounce his name. But I am very excited. I think also with a lot of the kind of tech-based powers, that is very exciting. Obviously, Blue Beetle is a very CGI-based character, and Booster Gold also has, like, technology from the future. So I think it is very exciting where they could take it. And I also am excited to see, like, how they maybe join the Justice Gang or something like that. I don't know. I'm very excited for this. I think this show could be a lot of fun. Once again, I think the reason why it's not in the top 3 on this list is simply because I don't exactly know what we're getting here. I think maybe I'd be able to determine a little more what we're getting if they reveal who the casting of Booster Gold is. Now, I would also say, along with Paradise Lost, this was announced a while ago, so we don't exactly know if it's happening, but with the announcement of the DCEU Blue Beetle coming into the DCU in May of Tomorrow, I do think that we will see, I do think that we will maybe see the show sooner than later, probably sooner than some of the other canceled shows. Place, I have the Jimmy Olsen TV show. Now, I know on a lot of other people's lists, this is a lot lower, but for me, it's simply more of, I know a little more what I'm getting. Jimmy Olsen, I think, was one of the better parts of the Superman movie. He was hilarious. Skylar DeSanto was an amazing casting for him, and he's just really, really funny. I think he has a really great screen presence. Now, I do think that a whole show about Jimmy Olsen before a Batman movie is pretty crazy. This one is set to start filming at the end of 2026, which is super exciting. Now, the other thing about it is that it's supposed to be kind of half Jimmy Olsen, half Gorilla Grodd, where the show is going to be kind of like a mockumentary about Jimmy Olsen investigating different villains in the DCU. It kind of just sounds like one of those kind of wacky, fun things that they could just do and I think have a great time with. And I think for those reasons, I am very excited for this. I think that this could be really, really awesome. With kinds of goofy mockumentary style, similar to, like The Office or different shows like that. But then I also think there might be some fun, like, meta stuff of Jimmy Olsen, like, navigating this such, like, dangerous world, and then also learning a lot more about other DC villains. I think another one of the strengths of the 2025 Superman movie was how this universe felt lived in. And I think the Jimmy Olsen show is going to touch on just that, how lived in the DC universe feels, especially because the show will probably explore Metropolis. It might explore Gorilla Grodd's world, and it will probably introduce more DC villains. Now, I think the reason why in the top three this is only third is partially because in some ways I do wish that we knew who our Flash was. I think there are very high chances that the Flash will get introduced in this TV show, but I am really excited to see where it goes. It just feels like this kind of weird trend that's happening with the DCU where we're learning about the villain before the hero. And I think until all the pieces come together and we know who the casting of the hero is going to be and we know when the hero is going to appear, I know that's some of the fun of it, not knowing when we're going to see the Flash or Batman or Wonder Woman. It just feels like they're bringing in pieces of the puzzle that we don't need yet. So I am very excited because I do like Jimmy Olsen a lot. I think Gorilla Grodd is a very interesting villain, considering he's a telepathic gorilla, which is just bonkers. But I am very excited to see what they do with the show. Next show on the list is Lanterns, which I am very excited about. It comes out in, I think, August or September, somewhere around then. I think that this is going to be really cool. I do know that there are some controversies online about it. It's said to be a true crime detective show about the Lanterns. And I know a lot of the complaints about the trailer was that there was just no green. It was just lanterns, which I guess is why it's just called Lanterns. But I just think the Green Lanterns are some of my favorite characters in the DCU. I think Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart are really cool characters, and I am really excited to see what Aaron Pierre does with the Jon Stewart character in this movie and in Man of Tomorrow. Sorry, in this TV show and in Man of Tomorrow. But I am very excited to see exactly what they just end up doing with a Green Lantern project. Like I was saying before, I am very happy that the Green Lanterns are getting introduced now instead of waiting for different characters like Aquaman or Batman or Flash and Wonder Woman to show up. So I do like that the Green Lanterns are getting introduced now, and they're not waiting to introduce them like some of these other Justice League members. I also like that it seems like there's reports that the first half of the show will take place in like 2016, and then the other half will take place in present day. So I really like that idea of like the first half being Hal Jordan teaching Jon Stewart how to use the ring, and then the other half being like them kind of catching up to now and solving a mystery in the small town. It's said to be kind of like a true detective thing. I also am excited. I think Sinestro is going to be introduced. Sinestro is an awesome villain. It seems like we also might see some stuff with Star Sapphire and then Atrocitus, who's the Red Lantern. So I think there's a lot of stuff to really be excited about if you like the Green Lanterns a lot, and I like the Green Lanterns a lot. So I'm very excited for this show, and hopefully they do it a little better than Ryan Reynolds. In first place is the Mr. Terrific TV show. Now, Mr. Terrific was my favorite character in the Superman 2025 movie, and I feel like that movie had a lot of really great characters. So he was just so much fun to watch on screen. The 5 years time needle drop fight scene towards the middle of the movie was probably the best part of the whole movie. He was really, really awesome. I think Eddie Galecki is really awesome casting. I do like that James Gunn's finally giving him his moment, even though X-Men First Class didn't. And I'm just really excited. We barely know anything about it, but Mr. Terrific, I think, is becoming one of my favorite characters in the DCU. And I like that some of these obscure characters are kind of having their time to shine. I think I do like the idea, even though some of the main characters of DC Comics aren't being introduced yet. I do like the idea of mixing some more obscure characters with some more popular characters together. I just think there needs to be a better balance of that. But overall, I think should be pretty awesome. We don't really know what it's gonna be yet. I made a YouTube short a little while back theorizing that there is a chance that possibly this could be a terrific show or something like that. We already know that Metamorpho is in the DCU. He's currently a member of the Justice Gang. So now I just think that we need to maybe this TV show introduces Plastic Man, and then maybe this TV show introduces Phantom Girl. I think that could be really cool, really awesome. And I'm just really excited for it. Let me know what your ranking is, or just what your top 3 shows are. Let me know what your ideal DC character to come into this universe would be. I think there's still a lot of characters that we are waiting for, but I am very excited for Man of Tomorrow. I was very excited for the Batman Part 2, but they delayed it. No, I'm just kidding. I still am very excited. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.